Hello and welcome to this week's Travelin Young. And this week, we're going to talk about a few things about what we just recently celebrated.
Yes.
Well, it's now been a few months ago, but our 25th wedding anniversary.
Yay!
So we're going to break this into a few parts. Part one, we're going to open up the time capsule and
look
show
back in the past.
some very old footage and talk about our actual wedding.
Can't believe you found this footage.
Next, we're going to talk about the 25th wedding anniversary celebration that happens, the tradition here in Denmark.
Yep.
And then we're going to finish this, stay tuned at the end, with some footage and discussion around our trip to Geranium, where we celebrated the 25th wedding anniversary with a very special dinner. So it's the, and how do you say this in Danish? 25th wedding anniversary?
The 25 Schulbryllup. Schulbryllup.
There you go. Yep. The silver anniversary here on this week's Travelin Young. Okay, so let's start with the time capsule. 25 years ago is when we got married.
Yes.
And just a little context of this. I had moved to DC.
Yes.
You were finishing school. I had started a job, and that was in Tennessee.
Yep.
I'd started a job in DC and was staying with my parents, working to save up money so that we'd have a place to live after we got married up in DC. And I flew down the week before the wedding to go to your graduation because you were graduating from college. So this is some footage of a young Miranda with short hair.
Yeah, baby Miranda
in your graduation.
Yes.
And we have right here.
You'll see it. I'm wearing this. It says Cairo or bust.
Yeah.
And it was like this stipulation from my parents that I could not get married before I graduated. Wow. So we said we'll get married the week after I graduate.
7 days later, and we went to Cairo.
We went to Cairo on our honeymoon, so that's why it says Cairo or bust.
Yeah,
so.
You'll see it in the back on the video there as she's walking across. Also, when I was reviewing this footage, it was probably one of the last times your maiden name was spoken aloud.
It was.
In your
because I fully dropped my maiden name.
Yeah, you're not a Hinkle anymore.
No.
So that was a week before, and then I flew back to DC.
You did.
My dad came with me to the graduation. Then we flew back to DC, and then I worked for a week. Then I flew back to Tennessee to actually have the wedding itself. And so that was like a crazy time.
That was a wild time. And you almost didn't make it to Tennessee because there was a big storm that you had to connect in Charlotte, I think. And then there was a really big storm in Charlotte. And he had to get back because we still needed to sign the marriage license and stuff. So we were very desperate for him to come back.
The day before the wedding, we had to go to like the county place and sign the stuff. And then, and so here's like very old footage. We did not have a videographer. The videographer was a tripod with an old camera up in the balcony.
In the choir loft.
So you can't really hear it very well. But that was, you can see we got married in a church.
Yes.
Which is a very, I think, traditional, not everybody gets married in churches, but it's pretty common, I think, for people to get married.
And it was a Lutheran church.
Yeah, that was the one where you went to growing up.
It was my childhood pastor at my childhood Lutheran church. I really wanted to get married there. I
was talking to somebody from work who recently got married in Spain, and I was talking about how we were like supposed to actually go to these classes and stuff because it was in a church. Oh, I forgot. But because I was in DC, I couldn't do any of that stuff. So we kind of like begged them to. And I think he like sent me a VHS video to watch around how to be a good husband that I said I watched.
We did have one meeting with him.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Pastor Evers was a very sweet man.
Yeah. And so this is the wedding, and I like one of my favorite moments in this is the very special person, my Aunt Linda, who I couldn't watch her.
No.
Because she cries at everything. Oh. And I thought if I turned around and saw her crying, I'm gonna struggle to get through this thing. And you can see in this footage, like there's this moment here where she's putting her tissue down. So there's footage that shows, even in this horrible balcony shot, that she was crying throughout the entire wedding. And unfortunately she passed away, and it's sad because she was such a wonderful person. And always like so emotional at weddings and just always
everything.
Whenever we left.
Yeah, she was always so happy for us and so happy to see us. And yeah, I mean, she was always so happy. She was always so kind to me, and she really is very missed.
But that was just a memory. I knew going in she was gonna cry, and the fact when I was looking back at this footage, you can see her with the tissue. Like Also, I don't know if you remember my cousin's. I guess she'd be my cousin's wife and Natalie, who was just born.
Yes, yeah.
And she had a cell phone go off.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Which is this is in 2000. So it wasn't even common to have cell phones, and they were pretty loud. I don't think vibrate was even, created yet.
I don't think that was an option.
And it was very loud.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I didn't watch the whole wedding footage to find that. You'll have to trust me. But then we went to the reception afterwards, and you could see us walking in. Cutting the cake.
Yeah, and we cut the cake first because we had a lot of people come in from out of town, and so we decided to just go in and immediately cut the cake in case people needed to leave. Yeah. But I loved that cake. I picked that cake out myself, and I was very proud of it.
Yeah, and then this is my grandparents who there was this thing where basically people would kiss. And then we would have to kiss each other the same way they kissed each other.
Yes.
And I feel like they gave us $50 to do it, and when they were $20 or something,
exactly.
and then we collected a little bit of extra money. This is my grandparents kissing. I didn't show, although I have it on video, my cousin Rob and Kim, because now my grandparents have passed away, so I feel like I don't need to ask their permission. But Rob and Kim are still around, and they were very passionate in their kissing. It was embarrassing to have to kiss Miranda that way in front of everybody.
I feel like that's where he leaned down.
Yeah, it was full on tongue and everything. Yes. So I didn't put that in here because I didn't have time to ask them if they would mind, but I have it secretly still. But that was a fun thing. A bunch of people did this kissing and stuff, and it was nice that I got my grandparents.
Yeah.
And then lastly, at some point here, I think it already kicked over into this night vision mode, so I apologize.
Yeah, it's really dark, and there was not low light videography
we
back then.
Of course, had our first dance, and this is me dancing with my mom, and you dancing with your dad, and that was our dance. Actually, here's our dance, and then us dancing with our mom and our dad, and that was a special day.
I love that there is some footage there of my grandfather who's unfortunately passed away, who I loved dearly, and he was such a fun character to have around. So
unfortunately, it's just his back.
Yeah, it's his back, but I can still have the memories.
I think my dad was taking this footage, so he was probably getting more footage of my family because he's in my family. But there's a little bit of sneaky look into the time capsule of our wedding. Yeah. 25 years ago, we look a little different, maybe slightly, in that amount of time.
And it's so funny to watch the quality of the video stuff that existed back then, because it's so low quality compared to what we have now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I don't know. It gives it a little bit of quaintness.
It looks like a Netflix documentary of somebody that's been murdered. Oh, no! That's the problem. Is this is the stuff that they pull out, and they're
It's the staircase.
Yeah, exactly. But we're good. We're live. 25 years.
We're live.
And then the next thing is, why don't you talk a little bit about the tradition? So 25 years. We're in Denmark. Yeah. And so our anniversary was on May 20th. So it's been a little while. But what happened the morning of May 20th?
So this was something we tried. I feel like this is much easier if you're Danish and you have all of your family and friends who you've known forever living around. But they show up on your doorstep. This is all very planned. So for the people who are watching this who are not Danish and don't know this, on your 25th wedding anniversary, you are greeted at your front door by your friends and family. And they sing a song, and then everybody comes over and has breakfast. And traditionally, people have lots of family and friends who are around, so you have huge crowds. But I give it to Maya. She and Vilas showed up, and she got one of our friends, Peter, beer tasting, Oostmanning Peter, and his wife, lovely wife, came over. And they didn't have quite enough for a choir, so they used a Bluetooth speaker to play it. But we have this, fabulous pictures of us from standing on our doorstep.
Yes.
Celebrating our 25th anniversary.
And it's the first thing in the morning. So
it's very early.
When I was told about this, I'm seriously, people are going to come over your house at 7 a.m. before they go to work to do this. And they do. And Peter lives close by, and he was kind enough to come. And so we had that traditional celebration with the breakfast.
We did. did.
And then we had our own part 1 celebration, I guess you could say. Part 2 hasn't happened yet. Part 2 is where we're going to go back to Egypt.
Yes.
So at some point in the near future, you'll have some footage probably of us when we're back in Egypt 25 years later.
Yeah.
But part 1 was we decided to splurge and have dinner at Geranium.
Yes.
We've never been before. We'd been to Noma, if you've seen that video. And we said, let's go, or I said, it wasn't a surprise, but I kind of proposed the idea. So let's go to Geranium and experience that. So let's cut to this montage of all the food we ate.
It was so amazing.
At Geranium, and then we'll come back and talk about it. So that was, I don't know the name. The problem is that was months ago and we can't find the menu. So
I had it. It's hovering around in the house somewhere. I put it somewhere.
But I don't know the names of all the dishes that we ate. So trust me when I say
all amazing.
It was all amazing.
Yes.
And also because I stopped drinking, we did the juice pairing.
They had a juice tasting menu.
Yeah, and it was, I thought that was even, a lot.
I loved it.
It wasn't cheap for juice, but it was amazing.
Yeah.
In that they could basically craft anything they wanted.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they had to select a wine to pair with the food. They could basically make anything they wanted. It was almost like they were making cocktails.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. It was like they treated it the same as if you were having like a cocktail thing. And so they had one that was like a beet juice, but then they smoked balsam fir branches. They like set them on fire and then smoked the inside of the glass and then put the beet juice in it. It was like very elaborate.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. I liked that.
Yeah, that was, I would recommend that.
Yeah,
juice
definitely.
Any place that offers that. Especially since I'm not drinking alcohol anymore, but even more so, it was a cool variety, cool variety. And if you don't know, Geranium is actually located inside parking, the football stadium. So you saw one of the pictures there was the view from the top looking into the football stadium.
Yeah, that was super cool.
Yeah. I wish I'd taken a view of the other side because one big advantage to going when we did in May, it was at this really perfect time of year where like an evening dinner, you can get a sunset view and everything because it's up on like the 7th or some floor. You get like a sunset view and everything and it's just like pretty cool really outside. Beautiful. I think like one half of it is like all windows basically. I feel like, I don't know, but I feel like going in like October or even worse, like January, February, where it's like dark the entire time would probably not be quite as cozy as May was nice because it was bright when we got there. The sun was going down. And I thought it was just like a perfect time with the view. It
was really beautiful. And you actually got some good pictures of me at the table at the time with the sun coming in. But
did I? I don't remember.
You did. They're on my phone.
Oh, they're on your phone then. Okay. Because I looked at this stuff on my phone. I didn't see that. Okay, you have the pictures.
We'll edit them in.
Yeah, but the food was, if I were to compare it to Noma, which are the only two very nice restaurants I've ever eaten in my life, I felt like Noma, I like the atmosphere and experience at Noma a little bit more. I felt like it was more, I don't know, it was less, I don't know if stuffy's the right word, but I felt like I don't know, I felt like people were dressed nicer. It was like a bit more formal at Geranium than Noma in that sense.
I think it was more of like an experience, whereas Geranium was more of like a really nice restaurant, whereas Noma was just like sensory overload everywhere and people were dressed super nice. And
No, I was saying Noma, I thought it was more casual in that sense.
You thought it was more casual?
Yeah. And the regular patrons were also more casual. I felt like Geranium was all of it felt like a little bit more, just less casual to me. That was my feeling.
Yeah.
But from a food perspective, I mean, they both were. I didn't think that Geranium had as much like exotic, like there were no ants or like bee larvae.
I think that's what I was saying. Like it felt much more like a restaurant, whereas with Noma, the food was like very exotic and kind of different, and everything was super organic, and it was just a very different experience.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it was nice. I mean, I'm glad I experienced it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I went to Noma. I mean, if I had to go to only one in my life, it probably would be Noma. Sorry.
Yeah.
If I had to choose. But it was still, I mean, everybody was fantastic and everybody was super nice, and it is an amazing experience to go through for those hours and not be rushed in your own pace and your own everything, and then they take you around, as you saw pictures in the kitchen and into the wine area and all that stuff. It's really neat to also get a view of everything. Yeah. It is just a really cool experience.
And they also did a really excellent job, because I can't have gluten, so they did a really, really excellent job of making sure that I could eat everything, and they had options for me that still were very gourmet and very extravagant, given my limitations. But I thought they did a really awesome job with that as well.
All right, there you go. So that's 25 years.
Yeah.
You saw the beginning, the week before our wedding. Then you saw the wedding.
Yep.
Then you saw pictures of us celebrating our anniversary. And then Geranium. And then at some point in the future, we'll have some video from Egypt. And at that time, maybe I'll show, I didn't have video from when we went to Egypt, but I have a lot of photos from the first time. I have a lot of video from this time. Yeah. And there you go, 25 years. What it's like to celebrate 25 years in Denmark.
Yep. Go us.
There you go. And that's it. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.